Okay, right. Something to sit on is good. I mean, of course, you can sit without a cushion or a block. It's quite nice to have a bit of height. So we begin with our meditation and just let everything settle downwards towards the earth, particularly as you breathe out. And it's kind of like returning back down, realizing that, I am made of the earth, I'm held to the earth, there is this energetic tether. And then as you inhale, there's that rise. So let the eyes close. Relax through your face, your mouth, your eyes, letting all expression just dissolve. So being aware of your breathing and wherever it is right now, just acknowledging that that's where it is. But we begin to shape it. And that always starts with just that acceptance and that awareness of how it is right now. So we watch it, observing the in and the out breath. And then begin to bring the practice of Ujjayi in, that ocean breathing, which slows it and lengthens it, but also it has that quite profound effect of over time, or manyfold really, but you know, the awareness and the length of the breath, that strengthening of the lungs, and you know, just even the fact that you can hear it, so it becomes this soundtrack to your meditation, your practice. So continue just to let this breath slowly unfold. While I just introduce what we're going to have as our theme. And with this yogic philosophy, you absorb what you're ready to absorb. So just let the words kind of wash over you, wash through you. We've been looking at the niyamas, of which there are 5. And we've come to the last one, Ishvara Pranidhana. And again, like most philosophy, you know, there's branches which, you know, different sort of translations. But I'm sort of been working from this book, the Jenny Lee True Yoga, which I really, really like, because it's quite sort of, well, obviously grounded in the ancient, but it's pretty down to earth and brings it up to date. So Ishvara Pranidhana is surrendering to love, and love on a kind of universal scale. You know, if we're lucky enough, we experience love on a personal scale, you know, loved ones, family, friends. But this is a bigger love. And it might be that for you it's the divine, the, you know, the light within, oneness, maybe God, in whatever sense or form it is for you. You know, it doesn't matter what it's called, but it's union, like with a capital U, to something greater than ourselves. So how do we kind of unlock this, or how do we sort of access this feeling of openness to love? And like with everything, there is methodology of it in our yoga practice. So I'm going to read a little bit about this, a couple of bits from the chapter on Ishvara Pranadhana. If I can find it. So it is the practice of devotion with courage, conviction, and dedication to our whole heart. Usually we reserve a bit of our heart's love in self-protection, but to practice this teaching, we must drop the egocentric agenda of getting loved personally and lose ourselves in the universal energy of love. By doing this, we set ourselves up for an experience that is bigger than our individual understanding or expression of love. The moment we feel ourselves opening to transcendent, non-personalized love, we realize it's many times greater than the human currents of loving. So, you know, it's not always easy to kind of feel this, you know, warmth for the whole universal consciousness, and you know, because we live in these sort of small worlds and trundle around each day. And it's, you know, when we're all on yoga retreat, like, oh, I am brimming with love today. Because, you know, you're just doing yoga all day and there's no other pulls on your time and it's all just groovy. But the real work comes in the grit of life and still feeling brimming with love. So then again, we look to how we achieve that. And it comes down to just being able to give yourself a little bit of time and stillness and peace, which again isn't always easy, and I'm aware of that. So to personally experience the loving awareness that upholds the universe within ourselves, we need silence. But how do we find silence in this world that is full of noise and activity? Breaking news, rapid fire entertainment, ceaseless social media. If we spend each day filling our brains with information from the outside without balancing this with the inner connection to tranquility, we will never tap into the wealth of truth, wisdom that lies within. The only way to develop a stronger connection to the voice of the true self that guides us from within is to calm the restless body and mind, our yoga practice, and to silence the voice of the screaming ego. So to develop a relationship with silence, we need to blend committed energy of discipline and the loving energy of devotion. Through discipline, we maintain our practices, accomplish goals, meet deadlines. Through devotion, we renew our daily willingness to show up. Over time, if not practiced together, many people rebel against discipline that is not enhanced with love. First, we commit to the outer silence by internally carving our time each day, no matter what. It could be 5 a.m. at home, 11 a.m. in the office or at home, noon in the car. We start with 5 minutes a day and be dedicated to it. As we become comfortable with the silence, it acts as a soothing balm to the incessant noise of life. We create inner silence by gently greeting the flood of thoughts, emotions, adrenaline, anxiety that arrives when we get quiet outwardly. We do not need to judge the layers of feelings, frustrations, sorrows, rage, tension, and the millions of notes to self. Silence is patient. Just be present. Eventually, the mind stops thrashing around, and we enter a blissful moment of inner stillness. Feel the pulse of intuition. Realize that inspiration, renewal, and peace are always within reach. So we start by freeing the body gently and bringing that kind of compassion and kindness and love to ourselves in our practice. Then we have that beginnings of, if we can do that, then we're more likely to be able to do the big stuff. Right, let's move on to our back. Have your blocks or books or a pile of something that resembles a platform, not a very big one, next to you, because we'll need it at some point shortly. But roll onto your back and bring your knees to your chest and just simply rock slowly. And even though this is something that you've done thousands of times, it's so valuable to begin or move into your practice with a beginner's mind. So how does it feel? What's happening with your back? How does it feel? Roll the knees round. Just checking that there's no tension in your jaw and your face is, soft. All expression is dissolved. And then release the legs and put your feet onto the mat, but a little bit wider than hip distance. So kind of outside edge of feet, outside edge of mat. And just move your arms so they're a little bit out of the way. And actually your pile of books or blocks need to be a little out of the way as well. So we're going to just drop our knees gently to the right. And it's that shape where if you had a bird's eye view of your legs, they'd be kind of zigzag. Okay, you're not stacking the knees, really, is what I was trying to say. Lengthen the tailbone down so there's no scrunching up into the lower part of your back. And then just lift them and take them to the other side. So what you're doing is you're moving from the outside edge of the foot to the inside edge. And so we then come back to center and go side to side, but with our breath. Breathing out, dropping the knees down back to the right. When the in-breath comes, you're moving up, and the out-breath back down to the other side. So just keep going side to side. Practicing keeping the Ujjayi breath going. And slowly warming the hips, kind of helping to release the lower back and just getting a gentle sort of stretch down the side body. And then we'll increase that in a moment. We'll do a couple more. Just going side to side. So when we bring our legs down to the right side again, we leave them there. But we pick up the right foot and just place it on the top of, on the sort of outside edge of that left knee. Again, check in that your tailbone is lengthening down. And then you use that foot just to gently draw the left inner knee down. Okay, not to the detriment of feeling any pain in that knee. If that's the case, then really ease off. And then it's the left arm that reaches up. Turn it so the palm faces down. And really reach the fingertips away. So you've got that lovely long stretch and sensation all the way down the left side body.
And as you sort of stretch and lengthen it, just encourage the breath to sort of find those extra spaces. And then ease out of that side and go to the other side. Knees drop down. Then we guide the left foot to bring the right leg a little bit closer. Lengthen your tail. Take the right arm up. Internally rotate, palm faces down. And then explore the space, the freedom that opens up, breathing into that. And then ease off. So we come back and then, make sure the spine is nice and central again. Knees come up and move to happy baby. So you can slide your hands to either the back of the knees and rock. And if we can reach up to the feet, that's the other possibility here. But not if you feel like you're straining through the shoulders then, or if you're lifting your lower back up too much. So just gently rock side to side. And the reason we keep the lower back, a little bit more grounded is so that the work happens in the hip joint, okay, rather than kind of lifting up sort of the lower back. You want it to feel that work happening in the hips. And then, of course, the spine is gently released and the muscles that tramline the spine as you rock side to side. Release the legs down. Feet flat to the floor. Okay, this time the feet stay hip width. And if you can, you've got your pile of books or blocks to hand. Before we use them, we just go up and down, moving in and out of a Setubandhasana bridge. So really firmly spread the feet and place them kind of as if they're sort of pushing into the mat, and then we slowly start that movement from the very tip of the tailbone as you peel your way up the spine as high as it feels good to go, and then slowly replace it back down, bone by bone, just gently, bone by bone, releasing fully. And we'll do that a couple more times. Breathing in as you rise. Breathing out as you descend. So carry on. This is somebody at the door. Okay, this is if nothing ever happened. Right, so the next time you're up in your bridge, you slide your bricks underneath your lower back, okay? And ease your hips onto them so you've got that support. Lengthen your tailbone. You want to feel that there's no discomfort in the lower back. Arms just gently down by your sides. And the feet flat for the moment. And just enjoy this supported bridge. Relax your belly. So you can really let it expand on inhale. And gently the belly button falls back towards the spine as you breathe out. You empty your lungs. And then we're going to take the right leg and reach it up. And then slowly start to circle the foot. So freeing up the ankle. Circle the foot and wiggle the toes and point and flex. And remember to go round both directions. And then we're going to place the outside edge of that ankle on the top of the other knee. Let the right knee gently drop down as far as it sort of naturally goes. So not forcing it, but it's kind of just dropping. And then we pick up the other leg. And obviously the right one's going to come with it. Not forcing it to be too high, and then extend the left up. And again, repeat that, sort of rotating through the ankle and going both ways. Wiggle your toes. In the summer, we don't have to wear big heavy shoes or boots all the time. Just frees up the feet a bit more, doesn't it? Okay, slowly take that one down. We're going to change. Lift up the left leg just on its own, and again, repeat that mobilizing of the foot, pointing, flexing, wiggling, etc. And then it comes down to rest on the top of the left leg. Let the right knee, let the left drop down, not forcing it. And then we lift up both legs. Extend the right. And free it. Feet are great. And they kind of fit an unsung hero. Feet and ankles. The donkeys of the body that do all the hard work, no praise. Pat in the neck. Okay, let's extend both legs up. And you can move your feet. You can start to move your legs around. Just don't throw them around because you've got some big stretching that happens around the back of the legs as you extend the legs up. You can circle them around. Really, anything goes. Maybe take them a little bit wide. Just explore. You can do eagle legs, that one where you wrap one all the way around as far as it will go. Maybe you hook, maybe you don't. Doesn't matter, with or without the hook. And then a few breaths that way, and then go around the other way. Other leg on top. So we bring the legs back down, feet flat to the floor first. And then we're going to stretch the legs long. So the heels stay on the floor and you extend the legs down. Okay, so if your platform feels too high, just adjust it. You don't want any discomfort in the back. So there's a big stretch for the hip flexors and the fronts of the hips, the thighs. You can have a little bit of extra stretch if it feels good, just to reach the arms overhead. You can't help but want to take a really deep breath as the lungs have got a little bit more space to fill now. So take several breaths. And then bring the arms down. Feet flat. Lift up, slowly move your platform out the way and gently bring your hips down. Feels like it's a long way for the hips to go. And then when you're ready, that counter stretch, bring the knees up. And rock, of course. Let's just take one big swing up and hold on to your ankles once you're up and just let the legs butterfly. Okay, lifting up through the chest, holding on to your ankles, just letting them do that gentle butterfly action. Okay, so just move the right leg out the way and take the left and bring it so that the knee's pointing forward and the left foot's at the right side of the hip. And then with the other leg, you're either having it foot flat either side of the knee. Now what we want to do here is feel that your sitting bones are both grounded because we're going to go into a twist. So if they're lifted, just bring that leg back so you'll feel a bit more grounded that way. It really doesn't matter too much. It just depends on, you know, your anatomy of your hips and stuff. That, you know. So we hold around that front leg, but we use that then to lift up as we breathe in, kind of getting that height, and then we rotate. So a great little adjustment here is to take the flat of your hand and put it on your belly and just gently encourage that rotation of the belly as well. Kind of gets the skin round a little bit more. Inhale, lift, and exhale, rotate, spit further round as you breathe out. Then coming out of that side, hands behind, and just do the sort of Kenny Everett type style leg changeover. Okay, right, so again, the foot can be either side, whichever feels like it's the right place for you. Sitting bones grounded. Wrap the opposite hand round that front knee. Inhale, lift and rise up through the spine. Exhale, rotate. And then you get the flat of your hand and place it on your belly and get a little bit, just enables you to get a little bit deeper into that rotation. And then release. So it works for our feet and our legs. So stretch the legs out in front and support yourself with your hands behind. And just shake your legs initially, just give them a kind of shape, bring them up. Okay, so the feet flexed, the little toe edge of the feet then drops, okay, to the out. So you've got the as far down as you can, and you can feel probably the whole of the leg rotating. And then bring it in, big toe edge of the foot tries to head towards the floor. Might not, you know, you might not get to the floor, it's absolutely fine. We're just exploring your range of movement, which will be different. Just move between these two. What we're doing is sort of just, again, warming the hip joint, getting it moving in its socket. Okay, then back up, point and flex. It's great to kind of acknowledge how much work it takes the legs to really point your toes. And then draw them back towards your face, pushing the heels away in that flex position. And then bring them together, walk them in.
And the soles of the feet, we want them to come together as if you're putting your feet in prayer position. So the little toe edges come towards one another. And often the toes point forwards here, but keep the feet as vertical as you can. Bring them together. It's great sort of stretch and challenge for the ankles, and then open them out, but you're opening them as far as they will go. And again, just move between the two. So close the soles of the feet together and open them. The revelation, I think, when you really start to have these conversations, interactions with your feet, a relationship. Don't take them for granted. A bit of care and compassion and kindness. Okay, good. So now the feet come flat on the floor, knees a bit wider. I'm going to shuffle forwards just a little bit so my sitting bones are on the mat because they weren't on the floor. Hands behind you again to support initially. Drop the knees down to the right. Lift up and drop them to the other side. And just keep going. So I'm sure that if you've done classes with me before, we've done this. It's a great way to really get some warmth in the hips. So keep going side to side. If you want to stay on the kind of more gentle side, you keep that support of the hands on the floor behind you. But if you're ready to challenge yourself a little bit more, you bring your arms forwards. So you keep going with the arms forward. Try not to let the shoulders rise up, because then you do look like a kind of zombie. But also it strains the shoulders. I don't care if you look like a zombie, but you know, if you're up here, you need to relax the shoulders down, draw them down. It's one of those sort of little sequences that slowly it means you're walking forwards. But you can shuffle yourself back as you need to. Okay, before I head any closer, I'm going to shuffle myself back. Just do a couple more. And then next time we've got the legs coming down to the right, we'll leave them there. Okay, it's slightly different kind of twist because we're not directly upright. So, and the left hip is lifted. Hands come to the floor. And it's if you're walking your hands in a circle round behind you as far as you can. Lengthen your tailbone and get that real feeling, that sense of rigging out. Challenge yourself perhaps a little bit to go a little bit further than you normally do. And then walk back round. Change the legs to the other side and walk the hand back round the other way. Just makes your belly gurgle. It's compression to the digestion. That's okay. Beauty of doing yoga at home. Okay, hands down, and let's come to the all fours. Just letting the face really soften and let the eyes close. And we're going to spend a few minutes just letting your body move as it wants to move. It might be starting really gently. You might feel, and in fact, what we want to remove from this little exercise is any thought and replacing it with just
letting the body feel its way. So I'm kind of loath to say anything really. But anything goes. We'll take another minute or so, not timing, but allow yourself just to move. But staying in this kind of template of all fours, exploring all areas. This is really great to do this, if you just want a little bit of freeing up for the body when you roll your mat out. You've really got, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Particularly if there's that sense of stiffness in the back or in the hips. And we gradually bring this to a close. And by taking a few moments in child's pose and just checking that the wrists and the hands are okay. And then we rise, slowly tucking the toes under, and a brief visitation to downward facing dog by just padding the feet side to side, turning the head a little, and then walking the feet just slowly up. Then come to a half squat. So you've got your feet planted down, okay, hip width, the hands resting, palms up, let the head just be heavy. And perhaps the ribs are resting on the thighs, perhaps they're not. It'll just depend on how you're built. Soften the jaw, let the head just be that kind of heavy, free. And then just slowly straighten up a little bit, but I would encourage a bend in the knee still. And you either got your hands, forearms, resting on your thighs or maybe the fingertips to the floor. And start to just shift your weight side to side. Exploring how far you can go without your feet lifting up or moving. And then find that center point, ground the feet, really firmly plant them down and then unfurl as you come up to stand. And once you're standing, close your eyes and just bring all your awareness to your feet. So what I want us to do is stand.
at least hip width. Feels stable. So the knees have got a micro bend in them. And really the reason why that's happening because I want us to, feel that the muscles are switched on, not locking the knees. So what I want us to do is to go side as far forward as you can without moving your feet, round to the other side. So your body is kind of circling slowly around, a bit like a weeble, okay? But obviously it's not a huge circular movement. You can try it with the eyes closed. So keeping the body sort of straight in one line. It's not the upper body that's kind of circling around, it's the whole body. You kind of want to feel that your feet are glued down. They're not moving as you circle around. We've got to go back the other way. Make sure that you change the direction. She knows. Okay, again, it's really great for the feet and that connection that we have with the earth, but also noticing all the muscles that require us to stay on off piece and no longer circling. What's happening? Right, good. So from here, just sort of let the legs shake. Unglue your feet from the floor. Firmly planted. Okay, I hope you can see me enough. I mean, you can't see my arms, but that doesn't really matter. Take the arms up and take hold of the left wrist with the right hand and lift it up as if you're pulling it up and then over. So at the moment, you're not sort of swinging your hips out to the side. You're just simply holding that left wrist, pulling it up and over. And then change sides. So do the same. Hold on to the right, lift it up and over. Try not to collapse forwards at all. Just stretching into the side body. And then back. Okay, bring the arms down and just roll the shoulders. So right foot steps forwards at an angle, okay, about a 45-degree angle. And then the left foot, the back leg, scoots back and on the outside edge of that foot. So then we reach up again and take hold of the left wrist. Inhale, you're pulling, and exhale, you let the hip gently move out to the left as you bend the front knee. Okay, so this takes in the whole of the side body. Breathing in, you can just sort of readjust. Breathing out, you go a little bit deeper. And we'll stay for 2 or 3 more breaths. Bend the front knee. As you soften that front knee, you can gently, pull the left hand over to the right even more as you sort of hang into that left side body. It's pretty strong work. And then ease out. Step out of it, maybe a bit of a leg shake as well. Left foot, 45 degrees. Right leg scoots behind, and you just sort of come onto the outside edge of that foot. Okay, reach up, right hand. And as you breathe out, you bring that right hand over to the left as you let that front knee bend. Let the hip gently move out to the side. That's it. And then ease up. Good. Shake the legs. Shake the legs. Come to the front of your mat, front-ish of your mat. Feet firmly planted down. And we move into chair pose. So you're sitting back in your chair, nice and deep. Shoulders drawn down. Lower abdomen really supporting, drawing the pelvic floor in and up, drawing the lower abdomen back. Keep breathing. Maybe sit just a little bit deeper in that chair.
Straighten up. Next, we're going to go back into it, but this time just shift the weight over into the left foot. Bring the right foot on top of the left knee. So we come back into chair on one leg. Good, sitting down, sitting back. If you're lucky if you've got a little bit of furniture or a wall to hang on to. Strong core, feel like you're drawing and your lower abdomen in and up for that kind of energy belt of support. And then come back up halfway, take the right leg, reach it as far back on the mat as you can. Okay, tail lifted, front knee bent, arms slowly move up. And then we begin to circle one at a time, right arm all the way around. And then the left. Reach both up. Take the gaze up, chest up, but keep that grounding through your legs and your feet. And then both hands come to the floor. Okay, and a lunge, but we're going to do a lunge twist. I want you to take your left thumb, okay, and place it in the crease of that left hip. So sometimes it's sticking way out and back and up. So what we want to do is from out and up, we bring it in towards the center line and down. Okay, so you're kind of almost regathering, drawing that left hip in, and then again, rotate the rib cage. You can use your hand on your belly to encourage it round, lifting up through the left arm. Strong back leg. Hand down. Walk your way round, so you've got a wide leg forward bend. Lengthen your spine on the inhale and exhale, soften, fold. Slowly walk back into that lunge. And step up, back foot to join the front. So back in our forward bend. And let's just have a bit of a squeeze of those muscles in the calves and maybe a rub of the back of the thighs. And then start to roll slowly up. Chair, inhale into chair, sit deeply, strong core. Draw the shoulder blades down and engage the core. Maybe a little bit deeper. And then straighten up. We're going back in. This time we shift the weight a little bit over the right foot. Left foot or leg on top. We come back into that one-legged chair. Nice and deep. This is good preparation for pigeon. Just throwing that out there. Nice and deep, strong through your center. One more breath. Slowly up, halfway, hands onto the hips, and really purposefully extend that leg back and bring it to the floor. Ground through your feet and your legs before the hands come up, and then rise, and then the left arm reaches back and circles round. And then the right, keep going, just circling those arms.
Reach up, reach back, lift your heart. Arms come down. So we do that same twist preparation on this side. So if we've got our right hip up and out to the side, we take the thumb into the crease. We draw it into the center line and down. Then hand onto the belly as we rotate and come into that lunge twist. Hands down. Walk round to the long side of the mat. Lengthen and fold. Soften the knees. Walk slowly back round. Step that right foot back to plank. And just hold plank, drawing the heels back. Move plank into dog. Plant the left foot down because the right leg, as we breathe in, is releasing up and back. And as promised, we're heading to pigeon. So it's that right knee that slowly moves right up to the right wrist, chin slightly across as we slide into pigeon. But we've got our books or our blocks or our little platforms to sort of, wedge it in. And then practicing in the morning, we lift up through the chest. So we create a much more of a sort of solar energy, okay, a heating energy to our pigeon. Either keeping the blocks there if it doesn't feel good and you move them away. So lifting up, and it doesn't matter if you're forwards, wherever you're at, we're just slowly working into that feeling of that opening through the front body, lifting through the heart, maybe reaching back for the back of the mat, holding onto it. And of course, there is that possibility of a bind, holding onto the back foot. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And you feel that chest wings opening. So as we release our way out, the hands come down and we're going to go straight back into that extended three-legged dog with the right leg reaching up and back. Okay, and good to sort of give it a bit of a shake, circulate around. Before we plant that right foot down and reach that left leg up and back, extending it as you take a big breath in. And then gathering it forwards. Landing it in pigeon this side. Use your block if you need to. Okay, and keep this foot flexed, keep the front foot flexed, because that helps to kind of keep that knee in a good place. Back leg, internal rotation. Okay, so that would be external, internal rotation. And breathe. Front body long, so you're lifting up through the chest. Maybe start to kind of really feel that opening happening as you take hold of the mat. Always that option to take the back foot. And then
release out. So the back toe tucks under. We're going to slowly lift up and back and into that three-legged, lifting that left leg right back up and giving it a good circle. And then slowly down. Let's come slowly down. Get the legs coming forwards. I come to a forward bend. Legs can be straight. You can have a little bend in the knees, whichever feels better. Inhale, lift and lengthen, and exhale. Just slowly hinging from the hips first. Lengthening through in and gently softening through out. And then when you get as low or as deep as you are able to get in your forward bend, and everyone's looks different, you just stay and take 5 more breaths. With each exhale, just gently softening, relaxing your face, your jaw, just breathing into the sensation, wherever that may be. With compassion, with kindness, with acceptance. Slowly easing your way back up, and then coming to lie, we're heading to our relaxation. So make sure that you're going to be warm enough. Okay, if you've got something that you could place over your eyes, whether it be an eye pillow or a sleeve of something or a sock or whatever, something just to let the light kind of be closed out a little bit, withdrawing of the sense of sight. And then just settle yourself in to your rest pose. Feel the body with that contact on the floor, on the back of the head, all the way down to your feet. Feeling the breath move through you. So being aware of your inhale and exhale, soft belly, relaxed through your face. So become aware of all that is housed in your skin, all the physical stuff, all the energetics as well. We have this feeling heart. Yeah, we have a pumping heart, which is great, that's really useful. But in the center of the chest, we have this energy hub where we feel and where we love. So
So let your breath move through your heart space. You can picture it as light, as warmth, as colour. And this is the area where we experience and we feel all love. So the visualization that we're going to continue with is an expansion of this. So we begin and we picture our physical bodies lying on the floor, being inside our skin, being aware of everything inside the body, the inner terrain, if you like. And become aware of your body lying on the floor in the room where you are. And then you take in not just the room, but the building that you're in, the house, the flat, the whatever you happen to be in. Take in the whole of the building. You're lying on the floor, but just becoming a little bit more expansive in your consciousness of being aware that you're in this building. And then we take that a step further and you become aware of the road that you're on, the houses that are on the road or the street, or if you're not in a street, you know, in the vicinity, if there are in fact any. So you expand that awareness to take in your immediate surroundings, the land, the houses, so much so that you then expand it to take in the whole town or the village. Just becoming aware that you are a dot lying on the floor. This huge town or village or area around you. And then even further, the whole of this country that you are in. The whole of the country. The whole of this planet. You're still lying in this room, but you're sending this sense of awareness and expanding your consciousness to take in the whole planet. And all its inhabitants, all the nature, all the seas, all the land. And then you're part of a galaxy. Just in space, in the cosmos. And yet we lie here, still part of it, but a tiny speck. Slowly, from cosmos to galaxy, to the planet, to the country, to the town, to the street, to the building, to the room, and to yourself. The universe within you, but part of something much greater. So we awaken gradually and slowly. Take your time. And come to sit. So just before we end, I'd like us to do just a short breathing practice. And if you're practicing this in the day, in the morning or in early afternoon, we block off our left nostril and breathe solely through the right. So you're just gently pressing on that left nostril and encouraging the right nostril, these channels to open. And this is the solar energy side. Okay, it's the heating and the stimulating side. So we encourage that to kind of drive us into the day, give us a little bit more energy. And if you're watching the recording of this and you're doing it at night, then just change and do it. Block off the right and do your lunar breathing. So lunar is left, solar is right. In the day, we want solar, we want energy and stimulation. So we block the lunar side and we just breathe through the right nostril. And the opposite if you're doing an evening practice. So it encourages dominance on this side. It's called sun-piercing breath. Clearing the channels. Keeping you energized, stimulated and heated through the day. Not obviously too hot, but just and then when you're ready, you release. You should feel pretty clear through that whole right channel. Hands together and either prayer position or just hands to your heart. Namaste. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Hello. Hello.